So you've just completed a powerful journey through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. And now, now the most important question is the one that comes after the progress. And the question is, now what? What do we do now? What do we do when, we've gone through the process, we've gone through the plan, and we're on the other side of it now? That's where we are tonight. That's what tonight is about. Not more learning, not more watching, but what comes next when the fire fades and your future still matters. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted right here. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that I am so excited that you are here. I am glad that you're here. If you're new, go ahead and put new into the comments. And also, if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments as we move through the episode, because I'd love to answer those questions for you as we go through this process together, right? Remember, we're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Whatever platform you're joining us from, whether that is LinkedIn or Twitch or Facebook, and of course here on YouTube, I welcome you to the show. I see some of our community members that are out there. We'll come alongside and say hello to you in just a few minutes as we get into the episode. I want to make a pitch. I want to make a push. I want to make a concerted effort to get you, if you've not done so yet, to get over to our channel. There are lots of things that are going on, lots of parts that are out there that we've been working on. One of those is our metabolic optimization via exercise. That is part of our MOVE campaign. That is, right now we're in the strength, strategy, and mindset portion of that. But we also will take a look at my blood sugars. I look at my meters. As a matter of fact, let me show you that. So I've got my meters over here that we're going to take a look at. It didn't look like the way I wanted you to see it. Hold on a second. Let me make a change. Okay, let's get my camera back over. There we go. Okay, there we are. Yeah, you were seeing all the wires back there. So here we are. We've got my monitors off to the side that we'll take a look at. And then right down below me, I have my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we'll look at to see what's been going on with my blood sugars over the last little bit since we've seen each other the last time. Okay. Also, I started mentioning on the channel, if you've not been following us, go ahead and make sure you get over there because we've got our MOVE campaign that's been going on. And a part of that, and I'm pulling that up for you, a part of that is our strength, strategy, and mindset that we've been doing. And this is with the idea that we are building a sustainable routine for our lives. We're not just letting things happen. And this past weekend, I was traveling, which was interesting. And I want to go ahead and show you what that looked like as I was out and about. So we were traveling, but still working on our MOVE campaign. And if you've been watching, you know I've asked you to come up with a 5-minute routine, routine circuit that you can do at any time. And so here I was in the hotel, and lots of people around. Well, not a lot of people, but people around, and they're playing music. And I said, well, okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do our routine. And so we walk through the things that we do. Okay, so there's our high knee marches. We've got our stomach crunches that we're doing, our pelvic tilts. Let's see, we did our squats, right, while we were there. So just remember that wherever you find yourself, you can still implement the things that we are learning. And that's the whole idea, that this is not something that we're doing for today or tomorrow or the next week. This is something that we are building, and we're building something that's sustainable for the rest of our lives. Some other things that you'll see that have been changed on the channel, and let me pull that up for you really quickly. When you go to the channel, when you went to the channel before, you saw a whole host of videos, right? So all the videos that we've done, and we've done to date, according to what they tell me, we've posted over 2,000 videos. Do you hear what I said? So we've posted over 2,000 videos. And one of the questions that people ask me all the time, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as we get into the episode tonight, they say, okay, if I come to your channel, where do I start? Okay, so what do I do? And so what I've done, and let me pull that up for you, is I've gone back to the channel, and you will now, when you get over there, whether you go on YouTube, on your computer, or you go onto your phone, what you will find is you will find a very simple look, okay? And so there it is, right? So all it says right now is start here. Reverse diabetes and reclaim your health with Dr. Dwain Woode. That is the list that you have. So if you have somebody who's coming to the channel, if you're new to the channel, if you want to know, okay, yeah, I'm hearing all this stuff that he's talking about, how do I start? That is where you start right there. So start here. That's why it says start here. And you move through those, and all of the videos that are in that list are designed specifically to walk you through what we've been doing here on the channel. If you take a look at what that looks like on your phone, if you get to the channel, this is what it looks like, right? So it's one playlist that says start here. And you can point anybody to this location and say, hey, if you want to start following Dr. Woode, if you want to know how to implement the things that he's been talking about in his community, that's it right there. The other thing that you will see, which is not there yet because we're just doing the first video, is you see another set that says videos for this week or something like that. I haven't come up with the exact name. So start here is walking through the process that we've been on that I have personally used for myself and that we've been using in the community, right? This is what we've been doing. This is the process we've been walking through. That's what it is. And then if you want to know, okay, what's going on this week, right? So of course we'll post the video from tonight here. We'll post the video when we do our check-in on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, there. We'll post the video when we do our check-in on Wednesday and Thursday and then Friday, all there so that you know not just how to walk through the channel, but also what's going on this week and how do I catch up? How do I keep up with what's been going on? Okay, so a little bit more streamlined, and you'll see that on the channel. So if you're out there and you've been coming and you're like, I'm not really sure where to go, that's it right there. Okay, so those are the two playlists that you will see. One is start here, and the other one is the videos for this week. Now, that doesn't mean that the other things are not there. If you are interested in seeing what else we have, all the other 2,000 videos that we have, you can go through and you can watch, and there are tabs there. You watch the videos. You can go and see all the lives that we have. You can go to the podcasts that we have, various ones that we've done on different subjects. You can go to different playlists that are there. Of course, you can go to our store to get our cups and our t-shirts and our hats and all the other things that are available. But I just wanted to point out that I want to make this as simple as possible for you if you are joining us here in this space. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at what's been going on with blood sugars, because that's been an important one. And I've had some people ask me, what's been going on with you as you have been traveling over the course of the last little bit? And so as you know, we went away last week, so Thursday through Sunday. And let's go ahead and take a look at blood sugars. And so here's my blood sugar today. And you see right there, that is what my blood sugar is according to the Libre. Down here is my graph, and this is for the last 12 hours. And you'll see the dashed line that's close to right about here, that's 70. There's a little gray line right there, and that's 100. So my blood sugars have been between 170 and 100 for the last 12 hours. If I look at, let's go over here. This is my Dexcom. Once again, here is my blood sugar, what it is right now. And then down below, you can see right here, this is what my blood sugar has been for the last 24 hours. If I go and I put my finger over that, I can run through, and we're looking right about here. I could run through that. You could see what my blood sugars have been: 70s, 100s. This is for the last 24 hours. And then we'll go back and see what it's been, previous to that. So 148 is what's the highest it's been, I think, over the last 24 hours. Just going to go through and see. So 110, 120, 120, 109. And so we got home yesterday about, actually almost about this time. So we drove. We were in St. Louis, y'all. Okay, and you'll see what that blood sugar is over the course of this is the last 24 hours. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to hop over and take a look at what these blood sugars have been. Let's look at our Dexcom Clarity Report. Let's pull that up. And so you'll see here that for the last 14 days, my average blood sugar has been 110. And we used to tell people we want their blood sugar average to be between 100 and 120. And so that's right in keeping with that. My glucose management indicator would be 5.9. So that means if I were to get an A1C today, based on these blood sugars, that's what I would expect my A1C to be. Now, it's a calculated number, so there may be some slight differences, but I'm fully expecting that that's what the A1C would be, or as close as possible to that if I were to get an A1C blood draw. And that's coming up actually here in just a little while. So we'll get to see what that is. I'm in target 100% of the time, so that's between 70 and 180. We're in 100%. If I go and I change this to 90 days, and so now we're looking at blood sugars over the last 90 days, you see my blood sugar average 117, glucose management indicator a little higher, 6.1, still in target there, 98%, and then blood sugar target between 70 and 180. Now let's take a look what's been going on over the last couple of days, y'all, as we've been traveling. Okay, and so this is what we just saw between the last 24 hours. So 102, 100, 112, 115s, right? So in the low 100s, I haven't seen any 80s there yet. And coming into the morning, and here is what I call the toothpaste effect, right? So came into the morning with an 80s and 90s, and then right about 6 o'clock when I brush my teeth, blood sugars spike up, go up to about 113. Looks like 116 was the highest that we got there, or 118. I think I saw 118, and then it started coming back down. Now I had lunch right in here, So I had a salad. So I had my default lunch, by the way. I mean, I was working on the computer. My team had gone to lunch, and then they came back, and it's time now to start seeing patients again. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I haven't eaten yet. And so I ran downstairs and I grabbed my default lunch, which was a salad and some hamburger meat with a piece of cheese, and boom, and that's what I had. And so that was right here about 1 o'clock actually. And you'll see what the blood sugars did. So right here, I finished eating, and you see the blood sugars went from the 90s up to about 114 maybe, down to where we are right now. Okay, now let's go backwards now, and so that's where we are today. So 24 hours ago, we were still in St. Louis, and let's take a look at what those blood sugars are. Let's start from midnight last night, or sorry, midnight. Yeah, was it last night? Yeah, midnight last night, and go backwards. So 125 was what my blood sugar was. So 140, right? So 110s, 105. All right, so this is as we were traveling. So we're driving at this point. And I have to be honest, right? So I was in the car and I was driving and I got sleepy and I said, man, how do I stay awake? And so I grabbed some chips. And so right here, you'll see those are chips. Right, notice what I said. I was sleepy. I wasn't hungry, so I was trying to stay awake. And so 110s, 120s, 121, right? So 130, and right there, that's the toothpaste effect once again. Coming into the morning in the 110s, 120s, 130s, and going to the night before. So that's Sunday, and this is now Saturday night. in the 100s. And so we're in St. Louis, hanging out. We saw a lot of people, saw some friends. And so that's what blood sugars have been running over that period of time. We had, well, I'm not gonna, well, I can say it. We had Tzatziki's. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say the restaurant, but that's what we had. And so up to about 140 right there, and 130s. And then you guys, so this is Friday. And so I broke my fast the day before, if you remember, because we ended our fast a day early. And so I broke my fast right in here somewhere. Okay, and then went up to about 150 was the highest. So anyway, so that's what's been going on with blood sugars, right? And I know I spend some time going through that because I want you to see, all right, and it's important for us to understand what blood sugars can do if we are directing the blood sugars on how to behave. Blood sugars, they don't just do what they want. They do what we tell them, and we tell them how to behave based on the things we've been talking about, right? So our balance bites, our exercise, and so forth. So even as I was out there in St. Louis at the hotel, there was like one of those nights, and I think I did one night I couldn't even upload the video, right? Because the Wi-Fi was so bad, and we were having issues. So I couldn't upload the video, and my I was like, you know what, I'm tired. And but I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to eat. I forgot what I ate. So I think I ate a cookie. And so I'm getting ready to eat a cookie, and I know what's going to happen to my blood sugar. And so I made that decision that, okay, I need to just do my 5 minute. I wasn't going to go and do a 35 minute workout at that time because it was late at night. So I did my 5 minute workout, the 5 minute circuit. And if you've not seen that, go ahead and watch that. It's a very simple thing that anybody can implement it. It's very simple. You don't even need any weights. Your body is what it is. We're doing some forward reaches. We're doing some arm twists. We're doing some squats. We're doing some leg swings, right? That's what it is. You lay on the floor and you tilt your pelvic up, right? So pelvic tilts. Simple, 5 to 10 minutes. And so you can do that at any time. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at my blood sugar is over here. I'm going to look at a monitor, and that's also not what I was wanting you to see, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and let's get that back to where we need it to be. Let's see if it works. Boom. There you go. All right. That's the beauty of being live. You can do all that kind of stuff. All right, so this is my blood sugar. And let's go ahead and let's grab one of our Lancets and our test strips. Brown for blood sugar, blue for ketones. I've got my strips for the Keto Mojo and for the Contour. And then I need to open a bag of this for the Contour. Let's go ahead and do that. Get this out. So what do you think my ketones are going to be, by the way? What do you think my ketones are going to be? So let's go ahead, grab one of these. I don't usually use a Lansing device. I just grab one. Awesome. And go ahead and open this up. Now, if you were with us when we did our check-in on Friday, right, one of the things that you hear me say often is monitor, monitor, monitor. People say, well, I'm not diabetic. Why do I need to monitor? Well, you don't have to be diabetic to understand how different foods and different behaviors affect your glucose. Because remember, dysfunctional metabolism is our problem. So if we are having foods that are causing spikes in blood sugar, even if you are not diabetic, then that's predisposing you to metabolic disease. And we're talking about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, strokes, peripheral artery disease, and so on and so forth. If you're not diabetic, and this is something that we're going to come back and do a show about, but if you're not diabetic and you eat, and so my blood sugar 10, let's go back this way. Blood sugar of 102 on the Kitamojo 93 on the contour, and then right there you'll see what it is on the Dexcom. Let me go ahead and take this one out and get the strip in. All right, so you ate a cookie, right? So let's assume that you're not diabetic and you ate a cookie. This is irritating me. And your blood sugar is normal. How do you think your blood sugar stays normal? Well, your body has to produce insulin to keep it normal. Well, the question then becomes, how much insulin does my body have to produce to keep my blood sugar normal? And if I am producing that much insulin, what else is it doing in my body? Because it's not just controlling blood sugar. And so there you see my ketones, 0.3. And as you know, normal ketones are less than 0.5. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. And because I'm not fasting right now, 0.3 is perfectly fine. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members, and then let's get into our discussion for this evening. Let's see who we have out there. So I saw Steve. And so hello, Steve. Steve is saying hello. Hey, man, how are you? And Pam. What's up, Pam? Let me give you guys both. So Steve and Pam. Get a hand clap and some music. And then Lorraine. What's up, Lorraine? Lorraine, let's get a hand clap for Lorraine for coming through. Says hello all. And then Gian. Hello, doctor. Hello, LLG. And Gian was guessing, I don't know if you were guessing 0.3 or you just saw the 0.3, but that's what we are right now. Okay. So once again, whatever platform you're on, thank you for coming through. For those of you who are joining us, and let me make a personal shout out. Those of you who are joining us from Atlanta, Berean, those of you who are joining us from Riverside and Nashville, those of you might be joining us from Mississippi, Yazoo, those of you joining us from Birmingham, whatever platform, if you saw our content elsewhere, shout out to you. Let us know if you're here from one of those places. Let us know by dropping that in the chat, in the comment, because we are so excited that you are here joining us for this episode. So let's go ahead and let's get into our conversation for this evening. All right, so you have just completed an amazing task. We have walked through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. And let me take you back to this weekend. Let me take you a little back to this weekend. This was an amazing weekend for me. So I was at a conference. It was a church conference, and it's estimated that over the course of the week while we were there were 100,000 people who passed through. It was electric. It was amazing. The speakers, the vision, there were some heated arguments, right? And it felt like it was a movement. It felt like things were on fire. Like we were, as one of the people said, we were on the mountaintop, right? It was amazing. But as we left, there was one question that kept coming up. And as I was walking out with people, right? So we had family members there, friends there that we hadn't seen for a long time. And the question that kept coming up over and over and over is the question that we're asking right here. The question is, what happens now? That's the question that separates moments from movements. That's the question that determines whether energy becomes a momentum or it just becomes a memory. And that's where we find ourselves. You and me right now, we're sitting in that space because you've walked through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. You've built new awareness. You've seen what's possible. But what happens now? It will either cement or it will challenge and it will slip. This is what's going on. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. Let me tell you about a moment that hit me, and it was just recently when I was actually I was traveling, to be honest, right? So I was traveling, and while we were waiting, I was in the process of watching some videos. And I subscribe to lots of different things. I've got a math channel that I subscribe to. I've got a video channel that I've subscribed to. And often we get into places where we're waiting. And so I like to watch some things. So I want to talk a little bit about the myth of information. And it's really the more information myth. I was watching this photography series, and the presenter walked through the entire process, right? So he was giving details, the processes, how to capture the right shot, and talking about lots of different things that that sometimes we don't want to hear. Like I just want to be able to take a picture, right? I just want to hit the button and I want the picture to show up. So he's going through this series, and somebody said in the audience, raised their hand and said, hey, why do we go through all of this? What's the whole point? And the comment that the person made was that I usually get good pictures. And the presenter didn't even blink. He said anybody can get a lucky picture. But he said, we're not here to talk about luck. He said, what we want, if we want to reproduce that picture, you need a system. What he was essentially saying is, yeah, you can go out, you can snap a picture, but if somebody comes to you as a photographer and says to you, hey, I like this picture that you took for this person over here, or I would like this picture that you took for that couple, can you reproduce me and my family in that same vein? In order to do that, it can't be luck. There has to be a structure. There has to be a system. And that idea stuck with me because it was exactly what we were going to be talking about. It's not just about photography. It's about health. It's about life. You've had a few great pictures in your journey. Moments of clarity, when your fast went well, your mental thought process shifted, you made a connection. But if you want to repeat and sustain it and build a life around it, you don't need luck. You need rhythm, you need alignment, you need structure. That's the RAS model that you hear me talk about. And this is where the accelerator comes in. This is where we talk about, okay, what do we do when we come down? What do we do after we've been motivated? What do we do after we've seen the benefits? What do we do? You don't need more information. Let me get a little personal and talk about a behavior gap. For years, you've heard my story that I struggle with my eating. I struggle with weight, topping out 287 pounds. And I went through and I would try this and I would try that and I would tighten up and I would get some results and then I'll fall back and I'll fall apart. And then I'd go, okay, I'm going to try harder this time. This time for sure, it's going to be better. And I'd lose some weight, my blood sugars would get a little better, and then that process continued. And I treated each episode like it was something new. Like, this weekend is hard, so this is what happened. Oh man, it was stress last time, and this is what happened. I messed up. I was traveling, and yeah, when I travel, that's what happens. I was on a cruise, we had a baby. Oh yeah, we were in New York. Oh, was having an argument, whatever it was. But over time, I realized something. It wasn't a new problem. It was the same pattern, repeating itself over and over and over because I did not have a system. The truth is that you've also had those things happen where you knew you were traveling. Christmas is coming. You have the anniversary every year. You have a birthday. It comes around every year. And every time it seems like, man, this time I'm going to do it. This time I'm not going to have this thing slip. I'm not going to go down that path. And somehow the thing that we tell ourselves we're not going to do, or the way we begin thinking about things, it's exactly where we end up. You're not inconsistent. And I want to convince you of that. In fact, today I was in the office and someone said to me, I said, why are blood sugars high? And the person said to me, oh, it's because I'm lazy. And I said, no. I can't associate the word lazy with you. And for many of you, I can't associate the word lazy with you. Because you have drive, you get up and you're working and you're taking care of people and you're taking care of families and kids and husbands and wives, right? You're doing stuff. So lazy is not a word that I would throw at you. You don't lack willpower because you get up when you don't want to. You go to work when you don't want to. So you have willpower. What you lack is architecture. And that's why the Limitless Living Accelerator exists. It's not another set of videos. It's the place where we install what you already know and make it part of who you are. Your schedule, your food, your routines, your community, your identity, all finally in sync. There's a thing called the misalignment. The misalignment trap. And most of us are building in the same place. What does that mean? We're building new habits inside the same environment. We're carrying new beliefs inside outdated calendars. So even though your identity is shifted, your life hasn't caught up yet. You're inspired, man. You've been up there. You heard the message. You came on the show and you heard it, and you're like, man, this time I'm going home. I'm gonna do it. I see it all the time in the office because we play these videos, right? These videos, I play them in the office, and there are people who come in and they're like, man, that one video. Can you tell me where it is? And so we point them to the video, blah, 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 and they come back, and they'll come back 2 months later, 3 months later, whatever the time is. And I say, hey, how did it go? I said, man, after I left here, some stuff started happening. You're inspired, but your ecosystem is out of sync. That's why people drift. I think it is not a good idea. I'm gonna say it that way. I think it's not a good idea for a system to take someone who's diabetic, and I'm going to pick on diabetics, right? So we talk about diabetics a lot. I'm going to pick on diabetic. For the person to take a diabetic and say to the diabetic, hey, I want you to go home and I want you to implement these far-reaching lifestyle changes, and then come back and see me in 3 months. I have never taken my son to basketball practice, or taken him to piano practice, or when he played soccer. I've never taken him there and then had the coach teach something and then say, hey, come back in 3 months. You know what they said? Oh yeah, we got to work on this. And so that is the idea, right? So the misalignment trap is where people drift. This is why good intentions fade. That's why motivation dies out. The accelerator solves that by helping you align your actual life, your meals, your morning, your schedule, your support with the person that you are developing. That's not new. That's not a new thing. That's not something that we are designing for just today or just for tomorrow. We are designing this to be who you are. That's why when we do the 100-day walk to consistency, that's why when we do the strength, strategy, and mindset, we constantly talk about consistency because our brains, our system is built for that environment. So when you're drifting, it's not because you don't have willpower. It's not because you don't have a vision. It's not because you don't care. It's because there's not a system that's there to support you. So the accelerator is not another challenge. This is how we make transformation stick. So systems are powerful. And systems are the things that work. I want you to think about this. In your life right now, there are systems that you don't even think about. There are systems in place. There are systems in place about how you shop, where you shop, how you take care of your car. There are systems in place for how you clean your house. There's systems in place for when people come over on Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's. There are systems in place for your family reunion. There are systems in place for your date night with your spouse. Systems are the new motivation. Here's what I've seen. People who were stuck for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years finally take action. People who gave up a long time ago, all of a sudden, they develop discipline. As though they didn't have discipline before. But now there is a structure, there's a system that is supporting what they do. And so it appears as though all of a sudden this person developed motivation. They developed vision. No, they had it all the time. They just didn't have a way of sustaining what was going on. That is the beauty of a system. And that's the power of a system, that you don't even sometimes have to think about it. Once the system is in place, then the system does for you what it's supposed to do. And why does that happen? Because systems work when motivation doesn't. So I'm traveling, right? So I'll tell you, I'm at the hotel. And I'm at the hotel, and as you are in the hotel, I'm thinking, okay, I'm with the family, and we've been doing all kinds of, we've been visiting. We see people who we haven't seen in a long time. And so we go down to the convention center, we come back and we eat and we go back. Right, so we're going through this whole thing, and now it's 10:30 at night. And I think to myself, oh, right, so all the stuff that I did today did not did not support, right, what I need to do for me. And it would be easy in that case, because the motivation, can I be honest? Can I tell you that I was not motivated to go down to the gym? Didn't know, because it's late at night. But my system said to me, hey, you don't have to do 30 minutes. You remember you got that 5-minute circuit that you came up with? Let's just run down there. Let's do that right now. And when the motivation wasn't there, the system was there. Because the system works when motivation is gone. Because willpower is great for the sprint. Oh yeah, let's do it. But health is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Because this body that we have is supposed to take us for the rest of our life. I want you to get that. I want you to get that. When we buy cars, we buy clothes, even when I've got all this stuff around me, computers and lights and so forth, I buy this with the understanding that at some point I got to get a new computer. I got to get a new car. I've got to get some new shoes, new pants. I've got to get a new suit. But this body, we don't think to ourselves, oh, okay, at some point, I know it's going to break down. I'm going to get a new one. Because guess what? There is no new one. This is all we have. And so it's not designed for us to get a new one. It's designed for it to take us all the way. And if it's going to take us all the way, then there has to be a way for us to take care of it. Because if we don't, then we run the risk of having all the things that are going on become dysfunctional, dysregulated, And we end up with a situation that was never intended. It was not our intention. That's not what we envisioned. It wasn't that we planned. As a matter of fact, we planned something totally different. So you don't need more content. You don't need more videos. What you need is repetition. What you need is support. What you need is a container that reflects the commitment that you've made to your future. And that's the truth most people miss. Transformation doesn't happen because you learned something new. It happens when you install the new thing that you've learned into your life. When the system matches the strength of your intention. You've come this far. You've tasted what's possible. Now the question is, will this be just something that you did, that you tried? Will this just be something that happened? Or is this going to be something that you're installing, that you are implementing, that's going to take this body and take this system the distance? Because if that's going to be the case, then you've got a decision to make. We got a decision that we're going to make. And that's the power of a system. That's the power of transformation. That's the power of installing into us the things that we need. So transformation doesn't happen because you learned, right? Transformation happens when we align our structure with the rhythm of our life. And so the question is, will this be a breakthrough? Will it be a breakthrough for you? Will it be a turning point for you? Will this be where you finally say, okay, let's do it. I'm about to do that. And that's what we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. All right, so if you are still with me, if your heart is beating a little faster right now, it means that you're ready, not just for information, but for integration. And that's exactly why we created the Limitless Living Accelerator. Not a course, not content, but a container that holds the life that you've been trying to build until it holds you back no more. I want you to get that. It's holding the life you currently have until the life you currently have doesn't hold you back anymore. Let me show you what it looks like. And you've walked through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. You've been going through each of those things and you've made some changes. If you've ever said, I just need more structure. I don't want to fall back again. I've tried starting over. This is the moment. The Limitless Living Accelerator is where we take everything that we've learned and install it into you. Not in theory, but into your life. It's not a program that you passively watch. It's a system that you live inside with guidance, with clarity, with action. And so on our website, DwainWoodeMD.com, coming up, you will see a link that says Limitless Living Accelerator. This is the next chapter in your transformation. This is where we say the stuff that we're doing is great, but how do we couch it in a way that is long-term and consistent? I love the community that we've built. I love the community that we're here. We continue to walk through this process. We continue to have all the videos. We continue to have all the things that we hear. But in your life, are you moving in the direction? The Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and I keep saying this, there's the word action in it for a reason. Because it requires from you behavior. It requires action from you. And the action that you can do is to get to the website and sign up for the accelerator. Because in the accelerator, we get to walk together as a group on a personal basis to say, okay, this is the life now that we are living. And after all, we are living limitless lives. And the limitless living life that we have is powered by the new us. And we have to make changes to our environment, to our relationships, to our physical health, our emotional health, our mental health. All of those things impact what we do when it comes to everything that this body is going to take us through. So if you want to make sure that you're taking care of this, this is the next step. This is the bridge that helps to solidify everything that we've been talking about. I'm so excited. And you guys hear me say that all the time, right? Right. So the conversations that we have, I'm always excited about the conversations because they are so... Do you know why I get excited when I have these conversations? I get excited. It's kind of like when you when you find something, right, and you're so excited about it that you want to share it with people. That's me. When you uncover something and you want everybody to know about it, that's me. I'm talking about being, and I've been practicing here in our practice this summer, actually. This summer's going to be 15 years, 15 years, right? So 4 years of 2 years of fellowship, 4 years of residency, 4 years of medical school, 2 years of graduate school, 4 years of college, well, 5 years of college, right? And so I'm talking about a struggle that has been ongoing. I'm not talking about last year or the year before or the year before that or the year before that or that and that and that. I'm talking about a struggle for me that's been going on for most of my life. And to finally say, man, if I knew this, or I shouldn't even say if I knew this, if I understood this before, there are so many decisions that would have gone differently for me. And the excitement that comes because finally I'm saying, man, I mean, it's like the light goes on. And then how do I, right? So Limitless Living, remember, Limitless Living is a community-centric process. It says that I cannot get benefit for myself alone, but I've got to have benefit where the community gets benefit. You may have heard me tell the story of, and you may have seen on social media, there was a clip that I put out this past week where I was doing a talk in Birmingham at the Men's Day program. And I told the story of a man, Dr. Callens, who, when I was struggling through medical school during that process, right? And so what you guys see and what you guys hear and what you guys saw in terms of weight and blood sugars and all of that was buffering behavior that came from things that were going on. Part of the things that were going on was medical school. It was the most challenging thing that I've ever gone through in my life. Well, one of the most. I shouldn't say the most, because there were some other things that we'll talk about another time. And I remember when I was out of school. I was out of school, not by choice, by the way, and talking to him and saying, hey, I guess this thing isn't for me. Because at that point, right, I'm like, I've given it what I could. It didn't work out, so I'm just moving on to something else. And he stopped me. And once again, I'm talking about other people helping me. He said, no. He said, wait a minute. He said, you are a doctor. I believe you're a doctor. All we have to do is get you the degree. So when I couldn't see it for myself, when I didn't believe it myself, he believed for me and he saw for me what I could not see at the time. That's the power that happens when people around you are able to infuse into you the power and the belief that may not be there. Or maybe it's not there. Maybe it's small and they are stroking it. It's a flame that has to be protected and nurtured. It's a seed that has to grow, and it cannot grow if somebody's not taking care of it. And so when you go and you're talking to your family members and your community and at your church and your doctor's office and you're getting benefit, their little plant, their little seedling is waiting for somebody to fan it, for somebody to protect it, somebody to water it. And you get the opportunity, you get the blessing, you get the privilege of being the person like Dr. Callens was for me. And so as I'm talking to you right now, here it comes. I'm making a connection. So as I'm talking to you right now, you think that I'm influencing you, right? Because I'm sharing this information, because I've made this connection, because I've had this vision and I've had this idea. But you know who is really touching you right now? Dr. Callens, who's no longer with us. And why is he touching you? Because he touched me. Because I would not be here were it not for him. That's the beauty of community. When we're in our community, group and people are sending messages, and I see some of our community members out there, and they're sending and they believe, I'm going to ask Dr. Woode a question, or I'm going to make a comment about something he posted. What's not understood all the time is just like you get benefit when you make a connection for something I say, I get immense benefit, immense pleasure, immense value when you comment, when you tell a story about something that happened, about some breakthrough you've had, about you went to your doctor's office and they say, hey, your blood pressure was so good they took you off of medicine. Or your A1C is now down in the 5s. Or your weight has come down. Or finally you have improved cognition, so the mental fog is lifting. Had a guy in the office a couple weeks ago, and he said, man, I have not felt this good in a long time. And I don't say that to take credit, but I say that for you to understand what happens when you take charge of this body, when you make the decision that this thing that I have right here, remember there are two things that we have that are most valuable, our time and our health. I'm going to do everything I can to manage this. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this. So you don't need more willpower. What you need is a system. And the accelerator is there for you. For those who are ready, those who are interested, those who and let me make this plug, right? So I want you to hear this carefully. When I say those who are ready, that's not intended to be a sales phrase. What that's intended to be is a point for you to make a note. Because to be honest, the things that I am now living, I wasn't ready for a long time. A friend of mine said that to me, because I was saying to him, and as a matter of fact, I said that to you just a minute ago. I said, man, if I knew or understood back then what I know and understand now, I would be so much different. And he said to me, he said, yeah, you weren't ready for it back then. And as I'm thinking about it, that is so true. Because it has taken growth. It has taken, experiences. It has taken ideas, right? So that's why when you hear me talking, and this is a great place to actually jump over to talk about that. When I talk about the Triple E formula for success, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. With education comes, there's all this conversation, all this information that's washing over us. And we cannot have information constantly washing over us without it affecting us in some way. So it takes education. It takes empowerment, because I can have all the information I want, but if I feel disempowered, the information means absolutely nothing to me. If you don't give me the tools on how to do what you're telling me about, what's the point? And so the things that we learned, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, the COPE model, the HEAT model, right? How to create a menu, understanding how our body works with dysfunctional metabolism, what things dysregulate metabolism, balance bites. All of those are tools that you get to apply for the things that we're learning. And then I cannot stress enough the power of community. You hear me talk about it all the time. Because community is where the power gets developed. There are times when you're gonna be down and out and feel like, man, I can't do anything. And the community is what pushes you further. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We will be back later this week as we do our check-ins starting tomorrow, and then on Wednesday. So by the way, we're back on our schedule for this week. Okay, let me say that. We're back on our fasting schedule for this week. Last week we started it on Monday. We're back on Tuesday. So we'll do that tomorrow after the meeting at the office. We have our check-in on Wednesday night, and then Thursday, and then we'll do our complete review on Friday for this week, and then video from the vault Saturday night. This Week in Review on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Central. So once again, on the channel, remember there have been some changes. Let me go ahead and pull that up again so that you see. So on the channel, when you go there now, you will see two playlists. The first one is Start Here, right? Because I want this to be very clear to you. It says Start Here. What that means is if you come to the channel, if you're interested in walking through this pathway, if you say, well, I like what they're saying, but I don't quite know where to jump in right there, start right there. You go through that series. The other playlist that you will see is one that says, I think I'll call it videos for this week or something with that nature. There will only be two of them. So Start Here and then videos. And the reason for that second playlist is when you come to the channel on a weekly basis and you say, well, how do I catch up to where they are right now? You simply go to that playlist and that will show you the videos that we've done this week. So we're going to put all the videos. We're going to put the Dwain Woode MD Live. We'll put the check-in for the week. When we start the fast, we'll do the check-ins that we do on a nightly basis. We'll do the check-in when we go through the 24 hours and the 48 hours. And of course, we'll do the complete review at the end of the week so that you can then go through and you can watch all of those. If you're catching up, if you come in on a Tuesday and say, oh man, what did they do this week? I don't want you to be lost. So come on in and get there. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and let's say again, hello again to some of our community members. Let's see who we have out there. Let's go back up. I think we saw, I see Jennifer. Hey, well, before I get that, so Gian said she was guessing at the 3.3, doctor. She said, I got your number. That's right. Rachel Lee, what's up? Hello, Rachel from Nevada. Thank you for coming through and hanging out, Rachel. We've got Jennifer Doc and his electronics. That's right, my electronics. Gian said, hi, Jennifer. What is electronics? Oh, yeah, this is all the stuff, right? All the stuff that I got around me. I am. So in our office, by the way, so we have, I like mottos and mantras and all that side of things. So in our office, we have our mission statement. And our mission statement goes like this. Our practice exists to evaluate, treat, and educate patients with endocrine disorders. We desire to positively impact the health and quality of life of our customers. Our practice will be the premier endocrinology practice in North Alabama for results and customer satisfaction. We will use innovative technology to help our customers reach their goals. Our team members are valued and empowered to deliver efficient, caring, and compassionate service at each encounter. That's our mission statement. And so in there, notice that I deliberately added technology. That's how much I like technology. I just thought that was, anyway, you guys didn't need to know that, but hey, there it is. So Jennifer said his cameras, computer stuff. Julian said, oh, I see. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer's smiling. Boy, what's up, boy? How are you? Thank you for coming through. Jennifer saying howdy. Gian saying howdy. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Gian. Boy says, I appreciate the Start Here playlist because I do feel like I'm falling behind. Yeah, so great point, Boy, and I like it. You always make some good comments. So all the other videos are on the channel. Okay, so they're there. So you can go through and you can find videos on fasting. And in fact, within the Start Here video, what I'll do is as time, and I haven't done this yet because this just got put up today, right? We made that change today. So within that playlist, on the videos that you're watching through, what we'll do is we'll link to the other videos that if you, for instance, when you go to the video on the health action plan, right? Because there's a video on the health action plan. If you want to see, okay, what is the entire health action plan? Then that video will link to the entire plan. So you can go in and do further detail, but to walk through the process, right? These are the steps. You can do additional research. When you get to the fasting one, right? How many videos have we done on fasting? I mean, I can't even count the number of videos because we do 1, 2, 3. We do 3 or 4 videos every week on fasting, and we've done that for almost 2 years now. So I can't tell you the number of videos. So if you want to know videos on how to fast, then you can link and go and find videos on various topics on fasting. So those videos are still there, but to simplify the process to help you to walk through, and so like Bui said, she feels like she's falling behind. I want you to be coming along with us, and that's the other reason for the videos from this week, so that you say, okay, oh man, I've not been there for a couple weeks because I went off and I was on vacation. So when you come back, say, okay, man, I wonder where they are. Well, this is where we are because those are the videos from this week. Okay, awesome. Thank you for putting that in because I did want to make that comment to you all. So I am always so appreciative and so is always so excited to be in this space with you, because you are part of my community. You are part of that. When we talk about that triple E formula for success, that last E, yeah, is right there. And I get so thrilled when I see and hear of the successes that you're having, whether you are one of our online community members, whether you're one of our coaching members, coaching clients, or whether you are in our physical office here in Huntsville, or you're seeing our content anywhere else, right? Because now we are getting that content out to other places. I enjoy hearing from you. Let me say it again. I enjoy hearing from you. So if you want to hit me up on any of the social media platforms, send me a story, send me a picture, send me a comment about something that's going on with you. I would love to get those. We are putting together a montage, if you will, of some of that information, because I do want to include that in that playlist that says Start Here, so that as people are going through that list, they hear and they see that these are real people that are having real successes as they're walking through the process. Okay? Well, as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives, because limitless living says that we are presenting our best self, our best health, and our best plans for our lives. We're not staying within the boundaries. We're not staying within the shackles. We're breaking past those obstacles, and we are living a limitless life. So go live a limitless life, and we'll see you at our next episode. For those of you in the community, you'll see that link come up here in a minute as we move. And then remember to get over to Dwain Woode MD Live to sign up for the accelerator. Good night, everybody.